The young couple presenting in the video that you've just seen um, had really very few outside issues other than negotiation. They had differing views on um, how things should be accomplished, and their communication styles were different. This is a young couple. They're in their mid 20s. They have a child, they have a dog, they're trying to make it on their own. They both can manage things well. They're both fully and gainfully employed, um, have vehicles, just your typical middle class family, whatever that means, um, working regular, steady jobs, bills are paid. I know that during the course of the video, one of them said that they struggle from time to time, but that's not out of the realm of normalcy for people. Um, they both came from, as I learned more about them, um, I'm presenting this as not the first time I've communicated with them. This was the first time. The video that you see is the first time we'd actually met in person. So it's information gathering, but the assessment had kind of already been done. Um, you see me allude in the video to a phone conversation that I'd had with a young lady, gathering information, problem definition from one side, and I had asked, I had alluded to requesting to meet them in their home environment because I think that that's important, or I thought in that situation it would have been important to see how they function in the home as a couple, as a family unit, um, um, and for them to be more at ease and more comfortable in their environment. I didn't want them to be answering questions in a manner that they felt that they think that I would want to hear, how they would think that I would want them to answer. Um, as I spoke to them in the video, you see that I kind of summarized and paraphrased, caught on to some of the language that they were using, and we noticed that it seemed to come down to a communication issue, and that negotiation skills were kind of where they were stuck. That was their sticking point, if you will. Um, Kristen was type A, I think, is kind of how she described herself. She knew what it needed to be done, needed it done right away. Stefan, the man, was a little more laid back and felt as though that Kristen, because of her personality, was nagging at him, and he would withdraw. The typical problem being the solution kind of thing. I nag because you withdraw. I withdraw because you nag. So when I got that sort of vibe, when I felt that, then it immediately led me towards strategic family therapy, which is born out of a communications type theory, which I felt was perfect. Defining the problem, getting a clear picture of the problem from both sides of the fence. That's why I asked Kristen what I felt, what she thought the problem was. How would she describe the issue? I asked Stefan, so I get a clear picture of the problem from both sides. Who thought it was the bigger issue? Why is it a problem? Why is it a problem now? That's why I kind of alluded to, how long has this been going on, and why am I here now? Why, if it's been going on for a while, why am I here now? And then how do we move forward? Then, asking, these are typical steps in the strategic family therapy sort of bag of tricks, I guess. Asking what they've tried in the past, and they've alluded to the texting and writing letters, but that had more to do with explanations, I think, than actually trying to fix the negotiation, the communication issue. So with that, kind of led me to one of two avenues when we got to the point of setting goals, which was, the main goal that I thought would be good for them in a therapeutic sense or for treatment. Main goal for therapy would be to work on those negotiation skills, so they would be done in such a manner that Stefan doesn't feel like she's nagging at him, and she doesn't feel like he's pulling away from her. And in that sense, then could be one of two ways that I would have gone. And in strategic family therapy, there's a behavior contract that you could use. I'll change this behavior if you change this behavior, and they both agree to it, and you allow them to come up with the logistics of that agreement. Or the one that I chose was the quid pro quo. I may not have done that well because this is the first time that I've tried actual strategic family therapy off the cuff, so to speak, but which was the quid pro quo. Yeah, quid pro quo, which is one thing, you get something for something. So the way I posed it to them for future sessions was I wanted them to go line out how they would do that, write down some ideas of how they would create that bargaining tool. So if you do this for me at this time, at this point in time, in this manner, basically getting them to come in the middle. Kristen to ease up a little bit, kind of meet in the middle. Stefan not to be so laid back and get things done in a little bit quicker time. Kristen to kind of not be so type A, want things done so quickly out of Stefan. So for their expectations to kind of meet in the middle. Come up with some bargaining tools, things that are important to both of them, but within the realm of possibilities. I told them they could make it as fun or as interesting as possible without being too outlandish. So that's where I wanted that. I wanted them to start there by creating it, not necessarily implementing it in that first week, but by creating it. And then I got them to agree to do that in the hopes that they would agree to see in a further session, come back for a further session. All in all, I think it went okay. The conversation seemed to flow very smooth. Even though this was a staged session, it seemed like the situation flowed naturally, and the issue that they spoke about seemed one that was probably not far from one they actually deal with. That's how naturally that felt to me. So all in all, I think it went okay. I hope it went okay. That was my first shot at strategic family therapy. I think I think it went well. Anyway, thank you.